And you've had enough. And now the Kentucky governor has heard you loud and clear. It is right now first on the WHAS 11 night team, the out of control wait times just to get your driver's license. Hi everybody, and thank you very much for watching. I'm Doug Proffitt. The night team's Shively details the governor's rescue plan and if it's being felt yet at the Bowman field office.
Disorganized to me, it was just, you shouldn't have to wait in that long lines and then you go inside and people waiting.
Long lines are no surprise for people visiting Louisville's driver's licensing offices.
There's people sitting on the bench standing in line, and some of them were waiting in their cars.
As we reported in February, one man stood in line for 7 hours in the freezing cold. But now it's closing time at the Bowman Field location. Mostly empty, but Robert Guest still waits on his appointment. He's been waiting for over 30 minutes.
Still on number 6. It was 15 and now it's number 6, so I guess they'll get me in there eventually.
He keeps a close eye on his number as it moves up the line, only coming Friday to renew his license.
They need to have people that work with people who just want to get it renewed versus people who just trying to get the real ID, so they ought to have a separate line for them. That way it kind of will speed up the line.
Governor Andy Beshear says he's heard your concerns and the state is actively making improvements, which he says they're already seeing results on. Testing the system, the influx of people to the offices for IDs, the eye exam requirement, and state law change allowing 15-year-olds to get their permits.
We've got all these pressures happening all at the same time. So very new regional offices with new people who've been trained suddenly have a lot more volume. But we don't believe in excuses.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and state police hold pop-up clinics. Hours have been extended since March. Beshear says those will continue. Staffing has increased by 125 workers for the 32 locations. A new line management system has been added along with vision screening machines at each desk.
I'm happy to share that they are making a difference. This problem is not fixed yet, but what we are seeing is improvement. Our driver's licensing regional office issued more credentials in April and May of this year than they ever have since we started these regional offices.
He says May set a new record of over 130,000 issuance. But back at Bowman Field,
No, not really. I mean, I haven't seen anything.
those changes are slow to show improvement.
When I was here today, people were complaining, and they want to see some improvements, but it's not happening.
Louisvillians remain hopeful for an essential government service. For WHAS 11 night team, I'm Shively on your side.
Governor Beshear says he's committed to continuing to make improvements there and encourages people to go online and take advantage of the skip the line options there, which include completing some of those tasks online, and you can avoid those long lines. Brand new since 6, a man is dead after a shooting in Old Louisville today. Police say shot inside a well-known senior living tower. LMPD responding to the Hillebrand house on 3rd Street between Oak and Ormsby just before 2 this afternoon. When officers arrived, a property manager escorted them up to an apartment where they found a man had been fatally shot inside that apartment. Metro Police say there are no known suspects, and anyone with information should help detectives by calling the anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD.
He said he'd been shaving her head and pull her teeth and to hopefully do rest.
All new video from the Crystal Rogers trial. That's the shocking testimony the jury asked to hear again as they were deliberating the fate of chief murder suspect Brooks Houck. We were the first to show you this video from inside the courtroom as both were found guilty in connection with the Crystal Rogers murder mystery. It's the testimony from one of Brooks Houck's former employees, Charlie Girdley, testifying what Joseph Lawson told him about Rogers and her body. The defense, during a blistering cross-examination, attempted to show the jury that Girdley was an unreliable source, pointing to how many times he had changed his story about what he had heard from both Joseph Lawson and his father, Steve Lawson, on the plot to kill Crystal. WHAS 11 News legal analyst, attorney, and former prosecutor Nick Mudd early on unsure how the jury would take Girdley's testimony, but after watching the video now, this was his reaction today.
I'm not in the jury's mind, but I think it had to have struck a very, very deep chord with them. Number one, because the shock value of it. He was plain as day, matter of fact, here's what it is. And so it surprised me the amount of credibility he had in his demeanor when he presented that testimony.
The defense further attempting to attack Girdley's credibility bringing Brooks Houck's sister Rhonda McElvoy on the stand. McElvoy, in her testimony, denying that they even had hogs on the farm, saying they only had these pigs.
At first I thought, great move. Yeah, little bitty pigs. And I have a complete different reaction now. I think if you have any jurors with experience with raising pigs or hogs, well, here pigs though, like the picture, they certainly would probably attest to the fact that give those little piggies about an hour and something will be gone.
It's a theory many in Bardstown had speculated about for years and had what happened to her body. Mudd saying that theory could have connected the most with the jury in the end. Meantime, we're also getting the very first look at Steve Lawson, convicted in May of conspiracy to commit murder of Crystal Rogers. Video from inside the courtroom the day he took the stand in his own defense. Lawson seen taking his oath wearing blue jeans and a red button-down. Lawson on the stand admitting he did lie to investigators throughout the investigation to protect his son Joseph, not Brooks Houck.
I will not deny that I did not do this to anybody. I did for a long time because I didn't want to man up and take the blame for that. Yeah, I did not man up. There again. I can say it till I'm blue.
And you lied to protect Brooke House.
No, I didn't lie to protect no Brooke House in a day of my life.
By the
Just
time
protect my son, but never no Brooke House.
The judge banned TV cameras from the courtroom, as you know, but courtroom cameras did record everything. These videos were released by the judge to us after the trial ended. Now, after finally seeing justice and getting 3 guilty verdicts, Crystal Rogers' mother, Sherry Ballard, is finally sharing her thoughts with a specific message for the attorneys who defended Brooks Houck and the Lawsons. Posting on Facebook, Sherry Ballard saying these lawyers saw the devastation on every victim's face in that courtroom and didn't even blink an eye. Honestly hope they never have to search for their child like I've had to do for mine. She ends the lengthy post by saying, God has sent many blessings my way, but the justice I finally got for my daughter was the biggest blessing of all. More local news here tonight. A reward is now being offered for any information leading to the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Shively. Shively police are still looking for this man, LaBradford Ward, accused of killing 26-year-old Santia Simmons and 22-year-old Amia Cox. Police say Ward drives a red 2021 Ford Mustang. To receive the reward, submit tips to Crime Stoppers. That number is 502-582-CLUE. Right here, new tonight, a federal judge has ordered President Donald Trump to halt indiscriminate immigration stops and arrests in California. Immigrant advocacy groups filed this lawsuit last week accusing Donald Trump's administration of systematically targeting brown-skinned people. Tricia McLaughlin with Homeland Security said that, quote, any claims that individuals have been targeted by law enforcement because of their skin color are disgusting and categorically false, end quote. It comes as prosecutors are now ramping up their pushback to the raids, sometimes turning violent.
They are hard workers. They come here at 5 in the morning and they hustle. And so right now, we don't know the status of a lot of those people.
They cross the line, they're going to be arrested and they're going to be prosecuted. There's zero tolerance. If you cross the line and putting hands on an ICE officer, zero tolerance, you're going to be arrested.
This comes as a brand new poll found more Americans are supportive of immigration than they were last year. 79% said immigration was good for the country, compared to 64% last year. And now, almost a year after the attempted assassination of then presidential candidate Donald Trump, U.S. Secret Service has announced a series of reforms. A newly released report revealing the agency has streamlined their operations since that deadly day in Pennsylvania, saying it reviewed the recommendations made by external oversight bodies and made numerous operational, policy, and organizational reforms. Also, 6 agents on duty at the rally have been suspended, 5 Philadelphia field agents, along with one of the women assigned to Donald Trump's team.
They briefed me, and I'm satisfied with it. I'm satisfied with it. You know, I have great confidence in these people. I know the people, and they're very talented, very capable. They had a bad day, and I think they'll admit that. They had a rough day.
One person was killed in the Pennsylvania shooting, the fire chief Corey Comparator. His widow now slamming agents for what she calls a botched security operation, telling the New York Post, quote, I think the Secret Service is garbage. Back here at home, JCPS today looking to close the gap on its current vacancies, hosting their biggest ever job fair today. Over 200 people submitted their applications for 220 jobs today. The fair specifically targeting jobs for non-certified staff like nutrition workers, transportation, and custodians. Organizers tell us that as they look to fill over 600 positions, this isn't a problem that is unique to the district.
We are constantly, it's a 24/7 game that we're doing here, getting people in. It is a nationwide shortage. This is not something that is specific to JCPS or unique to JCPS. We're seeing this nationwide. And so we are just really excited to see this excitement from the community.
That's Carolyn Callahan, JCPS spokesperson there speaking. The district still has more than 350 teaching vacancies open. JCPS said that they are bringing in a staffing agency in hopes to fill half of those roles.